I'm Marin, and this is Post-its and Pens. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin, and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. Today's video is going to be a book haul. These are all of the books that I picked up in the first quarter of 2022. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, these are not going to be like in any particular order, so this is not the order that I picked them up. This is just the order that they're in the pile. So we're gonna start off with a book of the month pick. So my very first book of the month pick for 2022 was The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. I have already read this. I gave it 5 stars. I will link my recap video where I talked about it up in the cards if you'd like to check it out. But yeah, this was the first book of the month pick and it was a good one. So moving on, I have my next book of the month pick. I believe this was my February pick. This is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Now, I have not read this one. Let me make sure. Yeah, this was February. So I have not read this one yet. I would like to get to it because I do want to make sure I'm reading these in a timely fashion, because in previous years when I have tried subscription services, I have been terrible about getting to books like when I need to. So I'm hoping I can get to this one soon. It's a fantasy, Scottish fantasy, and it sounds very interesting. I did not realize it is the first in a series though, so that's not my favorite, but yeah, I am hoping to get to this one soon and see what I think. Next, I picked up some classics. So I picked up The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I'm sure I butchered that. This is the Penguin cloth-bound version. This is a book that I have read previously and really enjoyed. I actually read it in French class in high school like eons ago. This is in English because I don't really speak French, but I wanted it on my shelf because I would like to reread it because I remember really enjoying it. So I went ahead and picked this one up. The next classic I picked up was The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, and this is going to be read as part of Emily Fox's classics read-along that she's doing. So I picked up this one. I did a little bit of research and this seemed like the best version. This is a new translation by Will Hobson, so we'll see. I really enjoy the story of The Three Musketeers, the movies that I've seen and things like that, so I'm excited to give this one a read later this year. Continuing on with classics, I have Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. This is also in the Penguin cloth-bound version. As you can see, I'm kind of partial to these. So this is another one that we will be reading as part of Emily Fox's Classics Read-Along. I'll link her announcement video down below in case you're interested. But yeah, that's another one that I picked up. I had a Barnes & Noble version of this, but it wasn't very pretty. So I went ahead and got this one because the spine looks really pretty. And you know, aesthetics. Continuing on with classics, we have another one for Emily Fox's Classics Read-Along, and this is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Now, this is a chunky book. I read Grapes of Wrath in 10th grade American Studies English. And I liked it decently well enough, you know, at the age of 15 or whatever. So I'm excited to read this one as an adult and just see what I think. I've heard good things about this story and I'm excited to give it a read, even if it is very chunky. So this could take me a bit to get through. Okay, moving on to some nonfiction. I've got like 3 right in a stack. I have The Last Days of the Romanovs, Tragedy at Ekaterinburg, and this is by Helen Rappaport. She's done a whole series on the Romanov family. This one recounts their death, and then I have 2 others that she's also written. We have The Romanov Sisters, also by her, and then the last one is Race to Save the Romanovs. So I've always been fascinated by this period of history and the story of the Romanov family. So I went ahead and picked all 3 of these up, and I'm very excited to give them a read this year. Okay, switching gears a little bit. This is still nonfiction, but this is How to Talk So Little Kids Will Listen by Joanna Faber and Julie King. I picked this up because I teach kindergarten, and honestly, my students have really been struggling this year just overall. I think it's like a result of the pandemic and really being unable to socialize at all. So it's been a bit of a struggle, like getting them to learn how to talk to each other, talk to adults, how to listen, how to give them directions in a way that helps them know exactly what to do. So I'm hoping that this book might provide some tips. There is another one that they wrote, which is How to Talk When Kids Won't Listen. So this is like the little kid version. It's for ages 2 to 7, and my students are 5 and 6. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a read. I'm gonna read it over the summer when I can actually like focus on it and kind of apply some of that to next school year. But I am excited to give this one a read as well. Okay, I had another classic stuck in my pile. This is Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. Don't come at me if I said that wrong. This one took a lot of research to find a translation that I felt I would be able to actually like dive into and get through. This is the Oxford World's Classics edition. It was translated by Jesse Colson. I found a site where somebody compared like every translation of this and had like excerpts, and this is the one that I felt was the most readable for me personally. So I went ahead and picked this up. I did have to pick it up used because this is out of print, but this is another one for Emily Fox's Classics Read Along, and I am excited to see what I think about a Russian classic. Okay, now I have some fiction books. So I picked up In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. I read When You Were Mine by Rebecca Searle. Sorry, I was looking at the bookshelf up there. When You Were Mine by this author, and I loved it. So I'm very excited to see what I think about this one. I know she's got another one that like just came out, but this is the one that kind of piqued my interest the most. So I'm excited to give this one a read, and I like that it's short, so I feel like this would probably be a good one to read over the summer. Okay, then I picked up 2 books by Erin Watt. If you're unfamiliar, this is a duo writing team. So the first one that I've picked up is When It's Real, and this is a YA book, I believe. I read the Royals series, well, the first 3 books in the Royals series by them. I'll put the cover of the first one right here. Really liked that one, so I kind of wanted to see what their YA books would look like. So I picked this one up. I have not read this one yet. And the other one I picked up was One Small Thing, which was my buzzword pick for the month of April, actually, and I have read this one. This one was a bit disappointing. I did not like this one nearly as well as I liked the Royals series. This one I gave like 3.5 stars, 3 stars on Goodreads. It was okay. It was like an easy read, but I did not like it as much as the first series that I read by them. The characters in this book, almost all of them, are like highly unlikable, and it just was a bit over the top. So we'll see what I think about When It's Real. Hopefully it will not be the same as this one. Then I picked up a book that I read ages ago and I gave 5 stars because I'm wanting to do a vlog where I reread old 5-star favorites to see if I still think that they're 5 stars. And that book is If I Lie by Corinne Jackson. And this one focuses on a girl named Quinn. She kisses a boy who is not her boyfriend, but she won't speak up about what's actually going on because it will ruin her boyfriend's reputation. So she's like holding this secret inside because she doesn't want it to reflect badly on her boyfriend. And I'm just curious to see if I still like it as much as I did the first time I read it. This is a very old book. This book came out in 2012 and I read it as an ARC. So I'm just curious to see if it still stands the test of time. I did have to buy this one used as well because I do not think this is in print anymore either. But yeah, you will be seeing this one in a vlog later on in the year, so stay tuned. The next one that I picked up is The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. And I picked this one up solely because a friend had read this book earlier in the year, really liked it, and recommended it to me. So we tend to have kind of similar reading tastes. She really liked it, so I'm curious to see if I will feel the same about it. Then I picked up a graphic novel. This is Jem and the Holograms Volume 1. I was a big fan of Jem when growing up. I had like the doll and the playset. So I'm just curious to see what I think about the graphic novel series. Now, I don't think this is in print anymore. This was like fairly pricey to pick up. So I do not think I will be picking up the remainder of the series just because they're so expensive. I might be able to find them on like thrift books or, you know, something like that. We'll see. But right now I don't have any plans to pick any others of them up, but that could change. I may really love this and want to continue the series. So we'll see how it goes. Then I have another book of the month book stuck in here. This was like an add-on, and this was I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. I read Between Shades of Grey last year, cover right here. Loved it. Gave it 5 stars, and I really want to read pretty much everything she's written. I have 2 others of her books already on my shelf. I have Salt to the Sea and In the Easy, is that what it's called? It's set in New Orleans. So I have those 2 already. I picked this one up. This was a recent release. I'm very excited to read it and just get through all of her backlog because Between Shades of Grey was phenomenal, and I'm very excited to see her take on like other historical events. Okay, then we have my April book of the month pick, which is The Good Left Undone by Adriana Trigiani, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, which is this one right here. This is historical fiction. I really loved, as I'd mentioned, The Magnolia Palace, which was also historical fiction, so I'm excited to read this one as well. I feel like it's right up my alley in terms of what I enjoy, and again, like I said with the other book of the month books, hopefully I can get to it soon because I would like to read these in a timely fashion. I currently have 3 that I need to read, so I'm already behind, but go figure. Then I won a giveaway on Goodreads, which like hardly ever happens. I was able to get a copy of The Silent Unseen by Amanda Macrina. This is a World War II book. Yep, Poland, July 1944. It's about a girl who was in a forced labor camp in Nazi Germany. She comes home to like find that her family has been killed, and kind of what happens from there. So I'm excited to see what I think about this. I like pretty much anything set during the World War II time period, and I think this one could be very good. So thank you to Goodreads for choosing me for this giveaway because that was very cool. Okay, then I picked up 2 Black classics because I heard on the Literally Dead Book Club's live show that one of the guest speakers, who I'm totally blanking on her name, I'll put it on the screen, does a Black classic each month that she reads with a group of people, and then they have a live show. So I picked up 2 of the books that are coming up. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get the April one read. I'm going to try really hard. But I have Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. This is one that's been on my radar for like ages anyway that I've wanted to read. So I went ahead and picked this up, even if I don't get to read it with that book club. Hopefully I can get to it soon and give it a read because I know that it's like very well thought of, and it's something that probably we all should read. I'm kind of unfamiliar with what it's about. I did read the synopsis, but I'll be going into this one blind. And then the other one that I picked up was Beloved by Toni Morrison, which is another one for that read along. Now, Toni Morrison's been getting a lot of attention because her book, The Bluest Eye, has been banned in various places, including like a local school district in my area. So, you know, let's do our best to support banned books and bring them to the attention of others. So I'm excited to give this one a read. I probably will pick up her other 2 books that are in this like same cover format and give them a read as well. This one's really shiny. But yeah, so those were the 2 books that I picked up for the Black Classics read along, and I'm excited to hopefully be able to actually get them read and participate in the live show. So fingers crossed. Kind of in that same vein, I finally picked up Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria and Other Conversations About Race by Dr. Beverly Daniel Tatum. This is one that has been on my radar again for a very, very long time, especially because I teach in a predominantly African-American school district. So I like to do a lot of research and make sure that I'm like aware of things that I need to be aware of. And this is just one of the books that I think could be very helpful with that. So I want to dive into this one and give this one a read. This is another one that I will probably read over the summer just so I can actually like really think about it, annotate it, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm excited to finally give this one a read and kind of join the conversations that others have been having about this book. And the last thing that I picked up was a box set of the Shades of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. So I have all 3 books right here. Now, if you watched my last book video, which was my try a chapter video, which I'll link up above, you'll know that I had picked up A Darker Shade of Magic from the library, and I'd read like the first 2 chapters of it, and it really piqued my interest to reread it because I did listen to it on audio a few years ago, but I don't remember anything about it. So I wanted to give it a reread because I really want to finish this series. So instead of doing the library thing, I decided I would go ahead and pick the whole series up because I think this would be a fun one to try my hand at annotating because I've kind of been wanting to do that a little bit more. And I feel like this would be a good one to do that with. So I picked up the whole series. And now we'll just cross our fingers that I like the other 2 books as much as I did the first one. So hopefully that is the case. So that is a total of 26 books that I picked up in the first 3 months of 2022. Considering that I wasn't buying books at all last year until like the very end of the year, that's quite a lot. So I am kind of going to chill out for a bit. I have a couple books coming to me in May because I need to read them for a book club, and the library like didn't have them available. So I did pick a couple of those up. So those will be coming, but I'm definitely going to really focus on what I've already got because I now have plenty to read. So hopefully you will be seeing some of these on my monthly TBR videos, and I will hopefully be able to give you my thoughts on them and let you know what I think about all of them. So if you enjoyed this book haul, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.